Good afternoon. I think the previous session gave a framework of questions, so I hope I have a few time. But I think I'm not going to talk about the tool per se in my part. But my colleague will give a small journey of what we have started implementing in our tool platform. We basically have a test automation platform. I represent a company called ConfQ-2025. We are 10 years old. It has its own capability of entire life cycle management, starting from requirement management to, I can say, CI/CD. We have everything including the test automation. So that is where our business comes from. And I'm sure, like all of you go through, even when we go to any sales call, the first thing they'll ask, how is AI impacted your tool? Have you started any investment in AI? So that is why I started talking in conference about how AI impacted software testing. So my talk is about impact of AI on software testing. It is more of a theory, it looks like, but I'm sure if we all go through the same journey that you have used AI in your organization, or those who are about to use, those who are in the middle of the journey, those who are already successful. But there is no end to AI. Like any other technology innovations, it comes and everybody talks about it, and after some time it becomes business as usual. So I normally start with Alexa as the experience. So when Alexa came, all of us, when we say, please play Kishore Kumar's song in this movie, it played, you were all so thrilled, right? So now it has become business as usual. I don't think you will get excited by Alexa anymore. So AI is also in the initial stage now. I think everybody is having their own way of doing it. As Mr. Balmurugan said, like if you are selling a tool, it is not easy to answer those questions when it comes to sales. So what we do is we want to support our existing customers, how AI can improve their productivity and accuracy. And maybe if somebody else likes it, saying that we will use everything, whatever your platform supports, then maybe we will get an entry to start with that. But he is right. So if somebody says, I will import your scripts, don't worry about it, etc. All those things are only you will know when you start using it. Okay, and of course, it is also a challenge for people like us in the eco world. You cannot say in SDLC starting from requirement till your CI/CD, you should use our platform. You also have to have an interface, and we do have, and we don't tell people like move from Jira. If they are using Jira, they allow them to continue in Jira. We don't say use our requirement management. Anyway, this is about just on the response. So now let me go to the topic. I will not waste time here. I know the time is a challenge. We are already late, so I will try to see how I can manage my time so that the remaining session also can go through. Basically, like all the life which is impacted by AI, testing is not an exception. This is also impacted by artificial intelligence. So people will definitely ask, someone who's still doing AI, testing with your platform without talking about AI. So AI is definitely something which has to enter into every organization. Whatever work you are doing, it has to be accelerated through AI. That is what I can say. So what is AI for me is, we all, of course, I spent about 35 years in testing. So when somebody from R&D team comes and shows this is what we have achieved, I say thank you very much. You are doing this when I am retiring. So all thinking power is they are going to model it now. Okay. So that means wherever thinking steps are there in the test life cycle, there is an opportunity for AI to penetrate. So that is how I am going to talk about my session. So first I start with what we typically know as a test engineer, levels of testing. Like it is very easy to test when code is small, right? So we call it as unit test, component test, or whatever we call it. I am sure many here are test professionals, so that is a cakewalk. You can easily do unit level test because specifications are clean and there are techniques. There is a design technique, there is a method. So you have conditions, you have boundary values, you have equivalence class partition, so many things are there. We apply everything and do a very fantastic testing at the unit level. That area, can a agent do it? Many are successful. So I don't claim we are the only people who are successful, but it starts there. Okay. So if you ask me, where are we? Of course, in a demo you will see. Give a requirement in a decent way. So it will take some time to think and then tell you like, boss, here is your automated test script in our platform. So I won't claim that it will work on every other platform. So we make it up to execution and say that, boss, here is your requirement tested and device locked. Okay, that is the level. So at the unit level, there is a very good penetration. But when it comes to integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, models are evolving. We are also evolving, and we have our own model, and we continuously improve. And of course, some of the interesting points is that, will you store the prompts, will you store, etc. For our customers, we are telling them very clearly, if you are on on-premise, it will be in your server. If you are on our cloud subscription, it will be on ours. So, why are you storing the prompt? We want the model to improve. If it fails, I have to see like why it failed. So, that is how we have managed to start using our initial versions with the customers as a beta. So, integration, system testing, acceptance testing, I can say the journey is still going on. When I don't claim we are successful and our model is the best or whatever it is, and I'm sure as you think manually, how do you do integration testing? You want dependencies to be captured somewhere or dependencies to. If code is existing, we are very successful. Say for a maintenance project, we scan the code and we do a beautiful integration testing, regression testing, everything. But if you are in the beginning of the product lifecycle, where you start from requirement, where you have to understand the interfaces across modules, interfaces across dependencies across modules, etc. Whatever you struggle as a manual test engineer, the same thing you have to make sure that there is a well-defined model to think and capture it. That is where, so we have done reasonably well, but it is still in the journey. So this is the first level where levels of testing is one area where AI definitely has started getting in. Some people are there multiple stages. So that is one of the interesting. The next is about the optimization and prioritization. Normally, as a test engineer, you all know that the developers come with a, we have made a very small change, can the release still go on Friday? When does it come? It comes on Thursday night. Right? So, how do you still make sure that sufficient testing done in any kind of such challenge? It can happen only through you filtering, right? I mean, you say that which is the change you have made, what are impacted, what to run, etc. So if there is a logic you have used, and if that can be built into the model, the filtering of data, filtering of the test cases which really require to execute for that release, can agent do? My answer is yes. So it can start optimizing the test, what it has to run for a given requirement change. Sometimes, you will go through a situation like the requirement has gone through a very minor change. That means you have a test set for the old version. Now there is a minor change. So what is the easiest way? Of course, our platform being a test engineering platform. So we normally say that here is the user story which impacts the old user story. That can be communicated to the tool. Immediately when you are generating the test case, it brings you all your old test cases, allows you to quickly modify and create. So that means you get a chance to turn around the maintenance very fast with our existing platform. I'm not talking about AI. So having achieved this, so now we are trying to see that how our model can also understand. So what was the user story? It was old version. Where are the connected test assets? If there is a user story with the certain changes, can I understand this and tell them that, boss, here is your new test case which is modified taking the old one. Okay. So that is how, at the end of it, as all of you agree that AI is thinking and generating the output, but who certifies it is correct? So there should be some amount of check required, but can there be many AI output can be restricted with very few people checking it? That is what I think the business owners are looking at as an outcome of AI. So that means cost may be optimized over a period of time is the thinking. They're all in the initial research journey. More money is pumped. Microsoft is spending a lot, Oracle is spending a lot on AI. So investment is going left and right, but with the promise that you will get a wonderful productivity, wonderful utilization of AI in your life cycle, etc. Okay? That is the actual promise people are making. We have to wait and see. So some of these things, so whenever there is a requirement kind of a change and test assets are linked to the requirement saying that this is what is the old version, I can still generate the test assets. But if it is a code base already there in the Git, and if you say this component went through a change, as my previous speaker spoke, we can definitely understand from the code and come back with the new test cases, whatever is required. So those are some of the things which already AI agents are doing. The next is about defect detection and prediction. As he rightly said, automation is different, AI is different. Say automation, the only part I always, when somebody says I am an automation engineer, I say, what is this automation engineer? I mean, you are a test engineer, right? Execution is automated. So that's it. So there is nothing like automation engineer. Of course, framework, then how to make scripts, reusable scripts, etc. Some architecture, other things will come. There is no doubt about it. But I don't use the word automation engineer. I always say that in our organization, test execution is automated through a platform. So now, when you have automated the various test cases, and if you are running the end-to-end test also through scripts, where it is a test suite, a collection of multiple automated scripts, etc. If the automation discovers a defect, so who will log the defect? Right? In some platform, at least we in our platform, we have a configurability. Do you want auto login? I mean, auto defect login as a yes or no. If you say yes, wherever the expected output is not received for a given script, we log a defect with a defined severity, defined owner, which is configured. So it cannot say that so and so is the owner, so and so is the severity, because the severity thinking ultimately comes from what is the impact of this defect going into production, right? So we don't exactly commit this is the actual severity, this is the real owner, but we generate it to the configured data. So that means even for automated test execution, we attach in our execution plan who is the owner. So many times when I go for a sales pitch, they ask like automation test scripts allocated to an engineer. What do you mean by that? I said, see, somebody has to see what result came out, right? And they have to certify that it logged 4 defects and severities were wrong, I corrected it, and meeting can go through on the decision of release, go or no go, right? That is all. So today, the defects are generated automatically through the script, and we also have to improve the defect capture, especially if you know the real source where you fixed it. That is what is missing today as a practice. Not many engineers, many developers will say like, no, the defect was not in this module. There was a code change in the other module, and they have never informed me the interface has to be changed, and that is why I am failing. Right? So when you say that where exactly the change impacted where, then there is a possibility of model also can start learning this. So there is a connectivity between when you touch this, there are problems in these areas. This is what my defect pattern says. If my model can start learning this, so it can actually suggest to you that there are possibility of integration I can see or interfaces I can see between these modules. Okay, so this is one area where I can say the AI is definitely have reached reasonably a good stage. People are listening for automated defects or even a manually logged defect. If there is an analysis can be done, some suggestion can be made by AI. So things are actually working in that direction. Okay, then comes the maintenance of scripts. So this I have already touched earlier. So sometimes what happens is we have come across a situation where people say that my tool has a lot of unused test cases for more than 2-3 years. So that means people are saying like, when we know very well, I have moved my code, new version to the production, all my old versions are not running anywhere. I still keep the test assets. So the database keeps growing. So we always say that the AI agent can identify the test cases which are not used for quite some time, and test cases are totally meaningless, etc. So you can actually filter it and start talking about, is it your redundant test case for this model? So you can start eliminating them from the, how is the advantage, what do you get? Sometimes, when you want to compile the test cases and form an end-to-end test scenarios, you get a lot of things, and selecting and making them into a proper test suite takes quite a lot of time. So people find the redundant test cases are really becoming big. So if it is invalid, why are you not removing it? So that is one area where I think if there is a possibility, there is a logic how you can identify for a given set of modules, test cases are old and no more valid, and code has evolved quite a lot and it is not at all connected. That can be marked as redundant, go through one review, clean that. That is one area. Then last part, this is something which today's business is demanding. Everybody wants to go to market as early as possible. So many people will have sprints less than 3 weeks, less than 4 weeks. Why? Because today the agile is forcing you to say that I will fix this and give you the patch. I will give this enhancement maybe this month itself. So depending on the pressure you have on the support team and also sales team, and depending on the customer revenue what you are getting, so the releases are going very, very fast. So the CI/CD will have a continuous integration and continuous deployment. So that means code is going through changes and it has to be certified to move from one stage to another stage, development to QA, QA to pre-production, pre-production to production. So when this entire workflow is definitely is a possibility of digitization. In fact, we also have a product for entire CI/CD digitization also. So we integrate our platform like this, so that we can actually say that through our AI agents, we tell them like, this is ready to move to a development server to QA server, and deployment happens automatically. And email goes to the QA team, deployment done, and if there is a manual testing still happening, that part can start, the automation results will always be available. So it continues like that. So CI/CD area also, some amount of AI we are able to penetrate, and especially our CI/CD tool has already used quite a lot of AI capabilities. The last part of the test life cycle where AI has penetrated interestingly is the test data generation. I don't know how many of you work with healthcare, banking kind of a domain where there will be multiple product portfolios. When there is an end-to-end testing required for a major release, the test data creation takes a lot of time. And especially in healthcare, there is a department to department approval required. So if you put a test data request, somebody has to say that why it is required, which department is asking, then they will take some time. So we have a very big healthcare customer in the US, Fortune 500 company. So they wanted us to play a role in the test data generation only. When we just started the AI journey, we directly got, can your AI investment be done in this area? So we got an opportunity with a paid project. So we successfully delivered, and what was taking 5 days for getting the test data organized for a test life cycle, now it happens in a few hours. That is the kind of agent which is developed. Of course, it went through its own LLM. It's not any outside this one. It learned, it practiced quite a some, it failed many times, and it took almost I can say 7 to 8 months to really give them the beta version, and now it is production ready, and they are using it. All the PA people directly use this. So that is about one area where the test data generation, when it is an enterprise kind of a scenario with multiple product life cycle, where the end-to-end scenario has to pass through multiple technologies and multiple applications. So that is where AI agent can play a major. So we are successful here because we got a project allocated to us. It's a paid project. It is a huge project, and we managed to deliver this. And that is where our interest towards AI also created. We have an independent AI research team now, and in fact, we are coming up with our own new platform, which is called Walnut. So that will be a complete SDLC AI agent. So there is an AI agent for everything. There will be a requirement agent, there will be a development agent, there will be a test agent, like that, we are trying to integrate those agents. And in fact, luckily we have Maltesh who is testing that. So I thought he is the right person to show in our testing platform where exactly the tool is, AI is implemented. So this is one area where I'll skip the case study due to lack of time, but the slides will be shared. This is one major delivery we did, is data generation using the AI agent. And in fact, quite a lot of interesting things. So just to give the interesting part is 2 to 5 days of data provisioning has been reduced to the hours. That is the major business value we deliver. Okay, I would like to conclude here, and when I am asking Q&A, I will give chance for Maltesh to set up this demo. Of course, don't ask me all the questions what you learned from the previous speaker. So the benefit was every enterprise adapting AI strategy into their software testing process, because development also should implement AI, testing also should implement AI. So testing is one area where we have implemented quite a lot. Development, of course, you have Copilot, there are so many other things which we are experimenting. Normally what happens is, with all these development areas, the researchers use demo to me also. So it is something like this. If I take an example outside of the software context, if somebody wants to get your marriage certificate done, people say like, can you come with an affidavit? You will not start from scratch, right? You will get an affidavit which is already used by a notary, and you only fill up your name, your wife's name, and all the dates and everything, and get the affidavit done. So it is something like this. These AI agents will create a base code. How good it is, how maintainable it is, whether it meets all your way of doing things, etc. Somebody has to validate and improve it. So if somebody can generate 70 to 80% of your code at a cost which you can't even imagine, nobody can stop it, right? That is how the investments are going on in the AI. So today, every enterprise must talk about, we have an AI initiative, we have a budget for AI, this is what is coming up. You have to sustain your existing customer, you have to talk about AI. If you are looking at getting into the market for acquiring new customers, you can't even face them if you don't have anything called AI. So that is something which is becoming a very interesting challenge for all the business owners. So it actually increases speed of testing, and also it increases the accuracy. Effectiveness is basically the coverage, according to me. Because of the agent, you may learn a lot of things which you are missing, and it will definitely improve the test coverage, which humanly possible only if you have an experienced test engineer who you may be paying very interesting salary. So now if agent can do that job, and it can improve the effectiveness at a very initial stage itself, so why can't we use it? Detection of bugs at early stage, now that the acceptance criteria or expected values known in the script and the defect can be generated automatically, etc. So now every code you check in can have a list of defects the next few hours in your email box. That is the level of expectation is coming with the AI going forward. So lot of manual efforts are slowly getting eliminated wherever it is possible. Of course, with automation, execution is automated. Now they are telling, like in the engineering activities, wherever thinking is there, there is a process of thinking or there is a method of thinking, if that can be modeled. So can you get the first version of that particular output from the AI? So that is the first thing. Code analysis and refining the actual test assets is the one area where many people are successful, because if code is accessible and scanning through the code and giving the missing test cases, etc., is the very easiest way to do. We have already done it, and we are reasonably happy with the outcome of code analysis and refining test cases. So what do you get finally? The quality goes up. People see that your support cost reduces, and the customer satisfaction may go up, and you may start seeing that more business coming from the same customer because of your quality delivery. So these are some of the additional benefits we have. But challenges are many. As we rightly said, testing AI outcome or testing a tool itself is not something which is available as a theory today. So people have to understand that going deep into the previous session, like what exactly AI, what AI can do, etc. Where is the LLM scripts are stored, where exactly. So many things they have to understand. So the existing test engineers have to learn a lot to really continue their journey. So that is very, very important. Need for specialized people. Of course, prompt engineering is a new terminology which is coming. Like many people, when they come for their internship, etc., they are asking these direct questions. So whether we will be trained on prompt engineering, we want to learn this. It is becoming buzzword now. When people wanted to learn this. Wrong test data creation by AI agent sometimes creates a major impact. So one bad news about AI, it created a death of so many people because of AI outcome. The AI will go into a backseat. So we have to be extremely careful about the data generated by AI, who validates it and who certifies it. Okay, so that means the manual effort will not go. So, but the experts are required. Basically, say that yeah, it is ready to go, ready to use, etc. So the support required in the existing testing framework. So if you already have a automation tool kind of a thing, it cannot be sold at all. I mean, people will say like, if you don't have an AI, don't even give a demo, don't even give a trial version. So people are saying like, if you give a demo, you start with what AI capabilities you have. Then only they are using. So all these whatever different private tools which are available in the market. So we also have our own market share. I mean, so simplify QA is our tool name. So if you look at, we are having our own customer base today and who have given reasonably decent revenue for us. So they also, if I say, can you buy some more subscription in the next year in your strategy, they say like, what is your AI strategy? So if we don't align with them, like this is our AI strategy and this is what we will give you by this month, this quarter, etc., we are not getting continuous growth from our existing customer also. So AI is a must. AI will continue and AI will have its own speed of growth. And of course, one bad instance of AI may bring it a little slow. But today we are in a very nice speed and we are all assuming that without this we cannot survive and investments are going. So I think I will most probably conclude with this and keep it open for Q&A. So complex tasks with potential for human error can be replaced by AI agents. So whenever you have coding as a complex thing or testing as a complex area where thinking is required, can AI agent be brought into that place? That is what is the attempt. Apart from the execution automation, can design be done at a unit level? Can interface modules be captured through code scraping or code scanning? So these are some of the things which definitely is moving forward. Enhancing test coverage and the efficiency. Of course, the effectiveness is nothing but how good you are in testing and how you have covered all the risk areas. So that is something which you can promise through the AI penetration, saying that we are now better here. It generated so many missing test cases, so many missing test scenarios. It identified the interfaces which are basically not possible to know in the requirement document. And lastly, reliable software release happens at a higher speed. Okay. So with this conclusion, I will keep it open for Q&A when my colleagues set up.
Yeah,
Yes.
sir, I want to know like how much your system is on AI.
Sorry, come again.
So you are telling about AI, like most of the like we want to use AI, right? How mature is your system in using the AI?
How much?
How mature is your system as
Okay. So I would say at the level 1 of the testing, that is unit testing, we are very successful. Our maturity, I will put it as a high score. And it may be true with many of you also. Because It took very little time for us to make that model continuously work. You'll see that in a demo. But subsequent level, we are also like context driven. There may be a context which our model may fail. So we have to continuously learn. If you ask me where are you, I don't think I can certify myself, but I can always tell you, I promise my customer, if it is not working, we will give you the improved model. We will release the next version of the model.
It's a tool or a platform?
Sorry?
It's a tool?
It's a platform basically.
Okay, how it will work actually?
We have both a cloud subscription and as well as on-premise. Most of our healthcare customers and banking customers, they prefer on-premise. They don't like to have their data or prompts in our server. So we have both the models. So subscription model as well as on-premise. So we have customers on-premise also. The challenge is they will not upgrade whenever you have a new version. So you have to keep track of like who are in old version and how can you negotiate with them when they can migrate. What you can tell them like why they should migrate. So it is a very big challenge for us. So as a leadership team, we do spend quite a lot of time in telling customer like this is the time to migrate. So the on-premise customers coming to the latest version is a big challenge for us.
What is the return of investment before you use AI, after you transform to the AI model?
How does our return on investment work?
Yeah, actually, like in one of the sessions also we are talking about the percentage, right? Efficiency percentage, like how do you rate your efficiency? The follow-up question from my colleague. So how do you rate the efficiency percentage compared to your before AI and after AI journey started?
I can give you maybe it is just a first success. You all know HCM, right? Human Capital Management. So to generate a human capital management application in our new platform which we are coming out called Walnut, I just gave a requirement through a typical PRA and they generated in 1 month the whole application. I mean it has end-to-end. Okay. So how many people worked? Definitely very few people. So if you really go by I want to come up with a product for HCM, I'm sure you will have a team of maybe 1 BA, maybe some 10 developers, maybe 3 test engineers for next 9 months, first version. This is how we used to go, conventionally. But today, the people are expecting like, I have the idea, I want to see it's working. So how quickly you go back to them is the productivity I'm talking about. So if we, for our own this thing, so we use third-party tool for HCM. So we thought this is the first place where we have to implement it. We will replace that with our own tool now. And we are going to stop the subscription for that. But when I have to certify that, I mean, HR reports to me, so I have to completely get convinced that it is virtually doing everything what I was doing or much more than that, then I will switch over. But we took less than a month to come up with a decent HCM model.
And one more thing, you told the test data generation, one of the project you were very successful. So like if I consider like I get one more project from the different domain, like how we can reuse that whatever efforts I put into the healthcare domain, consider that I want to do a test data generation for banking domain. So can I reuse it or I need to build up everything from scratch?
There is quite a lot of reuse. In fact, actually what we did is for healthcare. And having seen the success, now the multiple towers are actually given the extension for us. The same team has moved to another tower now. But the demand what we are getting is from Malaysia. So we have a lot of banking customers there. So we showed them why we can deliver this solution faster by showing the reuse component. So what you asked is a very good question. So why should I come to you? So we said we have already done this test data generation project successfully in healthcare, and here is our architecture. These are some of the things we are using. So that reuse component was the selling point for us to basically to show that we are different. I can say maybe with because we did that project with a lot of pressure, the reuse component is somewhere around 30 to 35% as of now. But we could have done it much better. But I think 60 to 65%, I still need people to work at banking to make it work. Maybe when we have both, I may come back in a presentation like this, I can say we are 60% reusable. Right.